Welcome everyone, welcome to this WordPress SEO Masterclass. Great to have you here. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes, maybe a minute, just to get in. If you want to drop a line in the chat box, let me know that you're here. Welcome Amanda, morning all, yep, morning to everyone on this lovely sunny Sydney morning. Just a caveat, I'm just going to put out there, I'm recovering from a cold. I've also got hay fever, so if I'm a bit croaky, I apologise for that. And I've got a whole load of background noise happening. So I'm quite close to Bankstown Airport. So I've had planes and helicopters fly over this morning and everyone is out cutting their grass. So if there's background noise, I apologise for that. Good morning, Jane. Hi, Jessie. We've got Kate in here, Corinne and Jennifer, another Kate, a Janelle as well. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for turning up. Okay. Another couple of seconds just to let some people come in. Okay, yep, now I've got some more people coming in. We've got Kathy and Karen. Hello to everyone. Thank you so much for turning up today. So welcome. This is going to be our WordPress SEO Masterclass. I'm going to try and get through it in as quickly as I can. It might go a little bit over the hour. I'll just see how we can fit things in. I wanted this to be a kind of hands-on approach as well. So I'm going to be flicking between the slides and WordPress to actually show you how to do SEO in practice, because it's no use just watching some slides. You know, it's actually, we need to all get down and do it within WordPress. Good morning, Summer. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so as we start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past, present and future. I'd like to extend that respect to Aboriginal peoples present today. And I'm proud to be hosting this event as part of the 2023 New South Wales Small Business Month programme in partnership with the New South Wales Government. I think this is a fantastic idea. It's a great concept. I wish they had this sort of thing when I was setting up my own business. Got some more people joining. Tennyson and Richard. Hi to everyone. Okay, a little bit about me to kick things off. I've been in business for myself since 2005. I run a successful WordPress consultancy business. I also author some online courses and I run the WordPress Sydney and Elementor Australia meetup groups. I'm currently Vice President of Linux Australia, which represents the open source community in Australia. And before we get started, I just want to note that all the links that I mentioned throughout the presentation, it's going to be available on a special page on my website. And all the resources, all the links, the slide, the replay as well will be available there. And I'll give you that link at the end of the webinar. But please drop any questions in the chat box down there. And I'll do my best to answer throughout, or I'll try and spin around at the end and get all your answers then. Okay, the main objectives for today are going to be hands-on SEO. So I want to show you how we actually do SEO within WordPress. We're going to be showing you how to use a plugin to further enhance that SEO. The plugin today is going to be Rank Math. We'll talk a little bit about focus keywords. I'm going to show you on-page SEO tips. So I'll show you how to do SEO within WordPress. I'm going to talk a little bit about redirecting old content, why that's important, and some common SEO mistakes that you can avoid for those. So let's do a quick poll and just drop in the chat box what your level of using SEO as a practical basis is. Let me know in the chat box. 1 for none, all the way up to 5 is you're the king, you're the SEO king. So let me know in the chat box what sort of level everyone is at today. 3. Okay, so yeah, some 4, 3 to 4. Okay, good. 1, -1. Okay, right. I'll go slow. Okay, so we've basically got around to 2 and 3. So people are aware of SEO. They know it's kind of important, but don't have all that hands-on. We've got a couple of people at 4 and 5, which is great. Super. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Okay, if you need more in-depth SEO tricks, so for those people at 1, 2, and 3, you probably want to watch a replay. So a couple of weeks ago, I did from zero to SEO hero. had a webinar. It's up on my webpage, that link there. You'll be able to navigate to that. Full replay there. I go over all the basics of SEO. So that should give you a good grounding as to where you go. So maybe after this, you want to jump on, watch that one, and then come back and kind of do some more hands-on SEO. That covers all the basics. I come -2. Okay, right, cool. let's jump in. Let me just cover some basic SEO 101 basics, just so that everyone's on the same level. So here's my one-page summary of why SEO is important. So this is my entire webinar, my entire 1-hour webinar. I've condensed it down to this one page. So there are over 8.5 billion Google searches done every day. That's a lot of traffic and a lot of opportunity to make business and to make money. Please forget the other search engines because Google has a 92% dominance. So unless your target audience is specifically will not use Google, and they only use Microsoft Edge or whatever, then you're basically wasting your time trying to target those other ones because it's such a small percentage. You really want to be targeting Google for most of your stuff. So start on Google, and if you got good rank on Google, then you can maybe spread out, to do some of the other search engines. SEO, search engine optimization, it only targets your organic results. So we're not talking about the paid ads at the top. We're not talking about the rich snippets that appear, the Google Maps and flight times. We're not talking about those because we can't control those. We're talking about all the stuff in between that. So the organic stuff that's underneath the paid ads. That's what SEO targets, and that's what we can influence. The first page of Google. So page 1. That gets 94% of your click-through rate. So if you're not on the first page of Google, you're doing pretty badly. You need to be on that first page within that first 10 results. Ideally 1, 2, and 3, they get the most click-through rates. But generally people don't go beyond page 1. If you find that you've got a lot of links that are coming up on page 2, they're probably your best goal to try and bump them up to page 1. So if you've got results that appear on page 10 or wherever, it's going to require an awful lot more SEO effort to try and get them onto page 1 than the ones that are already on page 2. So if you're not on page 1, have a look at all your links that are on page 2 and focus your effort on them to try and get them up to that page 1. Now, we do this SEO by using keywords or key phrases that target our ideal customers, what they're searching for. So we need to understand what keywords they're typing in, but we also need to understand the intent. So what are they actually searching for? What's their end journey? Because sometimes people will type in keywords, but it's not really what they're searching for, and they might go through 3 or 4 rounds of searching before they actually get to what they are. So it's good to have a clear idea of what your ideal customer is. So create an ideal customer avatar. So that's their likes, their dislikes, their aims, their goals, their struggles, their hobbies, just so you get to know who that person is, so you can laser focus target them with your SEO efforts. And ultimately, we're all in business to get more eyeballs onto our business web pages. So the more traffic we get through Google, the more chance of having a sale and making money and helping people. So to do this, we need to engage in SEO and get as much of our content on Google's page number 1 as possible. So there's my SEO basics for you. How do we do this within WordPress? Because this is a WordPress Masterclass. So here's a list of SEO plugins, common SEO plugins. Today I'm focusing on Rank Math, but a lot of this stuff, although the interface might be different on different plugins, the basic concepts are pretty much the same. So here's the top ones. So we've got Yoast SEO, SEO Press, Rank Math, the one we're using today, All-in-One SEO, Squirrely SEO, and Slim SEO. Personally, I use SEO Press. That's the second one on the list there. I know that a lot of people use Yoast SEO. It's one of the most common, one of the most popular plugins out there. But Rank Math is certainly one of the best overall, certainly for beginners to get into. But it's coming up and up and up, in the rankings. So it's a really, really good platform to start on and to introduce and to get the concepts of SEO. You can chop and change between plugins, and most of them have an import plugin. So if you are in this top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you'll find that they'll have an import and export specifically for other types of plugins if you do want to change over. Why Rank Math? Oh, sorry, got a question here. What happens if you swap SEO plugins? Is it bad to change? It's not bad to change, Jane. People do chop and change. The user interface is different between them. Some of them have more specific features between the free and the pro. I used to use Yoast SEO as my go-to plugin, but I find that the interface, they changed the colors and the way it works. It's just too glaring for me. There's lots of adverts that popped up in the back end, so I didn't like that. So I did a little bit of research and I moved over to SEO Press. So I exported all the Yoast stuff and went into SEO Press, and the change was like that. I had no problems changing over. I had to tweak a few things and make sure the setup was correct. But apart from that, everything just kind of went on the same. So yeah, it should be okay to chop and change. I probably wouldn't do it too often, but if you're not liking the SEO plugin you've got, then try another one and have a look at what import features they have. They will probably support most of the top SEO plugins. Great question. Okay, so why are we using Rank Math? I'll be using the free version of Rank Math today for this masterclass. Rank Math has gained a good reputation in the last couple of years. It's user-friendly and it's really feature-rich, especially for the free plugin. For beginners, especially those who might feel a bit overwhelmed with the intricacies of SEO, Rank Math provides a really good balance between simplicity and comprehensive features. So here's some of the reasons that we're using Rank Math today for beginners. It's got a good setup wizard. It has a really user-friendly interface. It's easy to find things. Things are not buried 4 or 5 levels deep. It has something called content analysis. So it can analyze your page content. It can analyze your site content for SEO as well. It's page builder compatible. So if you're running Beaver Builder or Elementor, I know those specific too, then you can actually do SEO within those page builder interfaces rather than having to go all the way back into WordPress and do it within there. So that's good. It's got lots of free features in the free version, and it's got a great community support as well. As a huge community for Rank Math. So if you do choose Rank Math, you're not going to be alone. You can jump on Facebook groups and there's lots of community stuff there. So a really good choice, I think, to start off with. So let's get hands-on. Let me just switch from here. I'm going to switch over to one of my displays. Make it a little bit bigger, get rid of me. Okay. So here I am in a WordPress website. I've just spun this up just a couple of days ago. There's not a lot in here. I've just got a couple of plugins. Yoast duplicate post just for helping myself out to do this. But here I've actually went and installed the Rank Math SEO, just obviously preparing for this masterclass today. But I'm going to show you what happens when you install that. So everyone should know how to install a WordPress plugin. I'm not going to cover that, but I've got it installed. I've activated it. And when you activate it, then you will get this setup wizard. Now, there's 2 ways to do this setup wizard, well, 3 ways, but 2 ways that we'll focus on today. One is easy, and the other one is advanced. Advanced just has more options. The easy one just has a couple of options. So if you really are like a beginner, into this, then I would probably suggest that you start off with the easy, and just get the basics done, and then you can go through the settings and tweak stuff. Otherwise, you can click on advanced. It's not really advanced. It just takes kind of more steps to do the setup. So let's have a look at the easy one. So we'll start this. So here we are. It's only got 3 steps to it: your site, analytics, and getting ready. So it's going to ask you a bit about the website. So if you've got a brand new website, it's going to pick up some stuff from the WordPress settings. So here's the business. What type of business is it? So it's personal, small business site, which is what we're here today. So you choose this. And this is just so that Rank Math knows who you are and what your purpose is for your website, so that it can tailor stuff, and so it knows, how to perform analysis and get the most out of your website. You can select your business type as well. There's lots of options from there. It covers pretty much everything. I've just chosen government organization just for this test. The website name, so that will pick it up from your WordPress settings. This one, I've got a fictitious site here called Australian Space Force, so I thought it'd be a bit fun. You can have an abbreviation for that. You don't have to. The organization name, if it's not the same as the website name, you can put a different name in there. But this all loads into what we call an organizational schema. Schemas are special SEO groups of content that Google understands what it is. So you can have like a recipe schema, a place schema, a speaker schema, an author schema, an organization schema. It's just a bundled amount of data that Google can understand as a particular entity. You can choose your logos as well. So here I've got a little logo. If that's blank, then you just click on this. You can drag your stuff up to the media file or select one that's here already. When you're in the media folder, you can change your alt text. So alt text is really important for SEO. So ensure that all your images have an alt text that describes what the image is about, and try and use some of your SEO keywords in your alt text as well. You can put a title in there as well, but the alt text is the one that's really important. So I'm going to use that one. And there's a default image for your social share. So if you're sharing your page and your post URLs on social media, it usually comes up with a featured image. This is the default one that it's going to display if it can't find one on a page or a post. So again, it's going to be blank when you start up. Just click on add and then choose whatever it is. And again, make sure it's got alt text with some of your keywords in there. Google can pick up on that. It's good for SEO. We can save and continue with that one. The next part here is for Google Analytics. Now, I've already connected this. I don't want to go through the connection service because it's quite complicated. No, it's not quite complicated, but it's got lots of things I don't want people to see on a live or a replay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click through here and just go there. So just say I've set up all the Google stuff. And that's it, ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little video. And this is, I've kind of chopped and spliced some of the Rank Math SEO training video. It's quite long, and I'll give you a link for that later on. But it's a really good video, and it just explains, it shows you how to set up Google Search Console and Google Analytics. It's really important that you do that. So Google Search Console, that's where Google will report all the errors that it finds within your website. So if it finds things that are off from mobile, or if it finds 404 stuff, it reports it to Google Search Console. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on Google Search Console to see what errors are and fix those. And of course, Google Analytics, that's where all your visitor information is coming into. So it's important that you have both things linked in with WordPress. So I'm just going to show you this video. It's about 4 minutes long, and it just shows you how within Rank Math you can create your Google Analytics and set them up. So I'll be back to you in 4 minutes.
Connect Rank Math with your Google services so that the data from Search Console and Analytics can be imported to your site. Once you have picked your Rank Math account to connect with Google services, it will ask you to choose the Google account you want to connect with Rank Math. Take note that this is the Google account that should hold your site's Search Console and Analytics data. If you have not created or connected your Search Console with your site, don't worry, we will do that for you as soon as you go through the steps. It will ask for all these permissions so that Rank Math can access your data. It is important to check all these boxes so that we can do our job properly. And you want to click continue. Once you have connected your Rank Math account with your Google services, you should be able to select the site that is connected to your Search Console. And then you have the option to display the data from a specific country you have selected. If your site does not require any country-specific data, you can select the worldwide option. Now you see this enable the index status tab toggle. You want to make sure that it is toggled on so that you will see this index status tab on the Analytics module, which we will be discussing in a while. Next, on the Analytics options, if you have not created your Google Analytics account, you've got to create one. It's a very simple process. Go to Google Analytics. Make sure that this Google account is the one that you have connected with Rank Math. Click on Start Measuring. Then you want to give your account a name. You can put your business or brand name and Analytics. This is totally up to you. And then if you want to share your site's data with Google, you can check this. Otherwise, leave it empty. I'll leave the rest of the default settings as it is to get the most out of Google Analytics. And then click Next. Now you can create a new property for tracking. Let's give it a name, say your brand name and data. There is really no restrictions on how you want to name it. Select your reporting time zone because the analytics data will be consolidated each day and the time zone will tell Google Analytics what is the daily cutoff time. The currency is mainly for e-commerce and advertising purposes, so it's best to follow your business accounting currency for easy reference. Then click Next, fill up some details about your business, and create your Google Analytics account. Select the country you or your business is residing in, check this, and click I accept. And now your Google Analytics account and property are created. Head back to Rank Math, and now you want to reconnect your Google account again, so that the changes will be reflected. Thereafter, you should see your Google Analytics account here. You want to select the property you have just created, or you can simply have Rank Math create one for you. We recommend having just one property for one site, otherwise it will be confusing for you. But for the sake of demonstration, I'll create another. And this is the property Rank Math has created for me. It is just that simple. Select the data stream, it's going to be website, because we are collecting the data from your website instead of an app. And similarly, you can select the country-specific data to be displayed. With the worldwide data, you can have Rank Math install the analytics code for you. Take note of this. If you already have a plugin or theme that has your Google Analytics code, then you should not toggle this on. That's unless you want Rank Math to install the code for you. But in that case, you want to remove the code from your plugin or theme. And then you can toggle this anonymized IP addresses so that your site's visitors' IP addresses will remain anonymous to you and everyone who has access to your site's data. This protects yourself and your site visitors from privacy issues. And then we have the self-hosted analytics.js file, and when turned on, the Google Analytics script will be hosted locally on your server and will update every 12 hours. This way it will help boost the speed of your site, as it will minimize the external data requests from Google every now and then. Next, you have the option to exclude you and your team's visit to your site so that the data will not be skewed.
Here we go. It does go on. It's quite a lengthy post, so I cut and spliced some of that information, just the basics. So it's really, really important that you have Google Analytics and the Google Search Console, and make sure that those are attached to the website. Okay, let's move on. Move this to stage. There we go. Okay, this is the advanced one. So we did the easy one before. This is the advanced one. So we've got past the your site and analytics. We're now into sitemaps. Sitemaps are important. We'll have a look at that in a second. But sitemaps are important. Just leave those on. These will all be on by default. So we want our sitemap on. We want to include images. We want to make sure it covers our posts and our pages. And we want our categories up there as well, so that Google can easily access everything in your website. The next one is just SEO tweaks. For those, you can leave those as just the default settings. So no index for category. So if nothing's in there, it won't add them to the index. No follow for external links. You can click it on if you want to. It's not necessary. Google kind of figures it out anyway. And there's an option there to open up all external links in a new tab for those. I like that. Some people don't. I switched that on, but there we go. So that's the two setup wizards that you should look at, the easy one and the advanced. So the advanced is not really too advanced for us. There's another couple of things that come in. So role manager, you don't need to know what role managers are. If it's just you and your business website, then you don't need to worry about role managers. So you can leave that off. And there's 404 and redirection. 404 monitor is handy. It's quite useful. So you should probably click that on, and Rank Math will just keep an eye on all the bad links in your website and let you know. But you can do that through Google Search Console as well. And there's redirections. I'm going to show you redirections later on, so I'm not going to switch it on just now. And remember we talked about schema. Schema is that kind of special bundle data that Google understands what things are. Leave that on, so it should be on by default. If it's not, make sure you turn it on. The default is an article, but there's lots of different things. So book, course, event. So depending on what your business website is, and what sort of content you produce regularly. If you're an events organization, you might want to click on the event if you do lots of events for those. But otherwise, just kind of leave it on article for those, and all those settings are fine. Just leave them as the defaults. So we can save and continue. So here we are back in the dashboard. Let me just get rid of myself. There we go. So this is the Rank Math dashboard. You can get it from the WordPress dashboard. It's got its own entry on the side dashboard there. There's two modes for this dashboard. This is the first one. So there's an easy mode, which you'll probably go into if you have the easy wizard, and there's an advanced mode. The advanced mode just shows more tiles in here. That's all. So you can switch on all the different monitors, all the different things that come with Rank Math from here. So for example, if you're using BBPress or BuddyPress, maybe you've got advanced custom fields for those. Then you can switch them on or off as you need them. But all the defaults are on, so you probably don't have to toggle anything off. You can just use it out the box, which is good. But we'll come back to this a little bit for redirections, because there's something we need to turn on for redirections. But let's have a quick look through the Rank Math SEO plugin settings. The content AI, if you decide to sign up for a Rank Math account, then you can use their new AI integration, and it gives you 5 free credits. Otherwise, this is a pro, it's a paid thing. So probably best to avoid that if you're just starting out with SEO initially. Here we are on the analytics. This is probably one you're going to be in the most. So I've not got any analytics coming through from Google because I just set this up a couple of days ago. So I've not had a lot of traffic, but generally you'd have your dashboard, your lucky Google dashboard here, and it's going to tell you, how many visitors you've had over the last, 30 days, and you can choose the different days for those. So it's basically a summary of your Google Analytics within this dashboard here. You've got site analytics as well. Again, I've not got a lot of stuff coming through because I only set this up a couple of days ago. You've got SEO performance, keywords. It's going to track all the keywords that you're doing, and the rank checker as well for those. So yeah, because it's a demo site, I've not got any of this information coming through just now, unfortunately, so you can't see that. But this is where you go to for all your analytics and data for those. Your general settings. So this is where you can tweak rank math. In general, if you've went through the setup wizards, then you probably don't need to come here and change an awful lot because most of the defaults is set up for you. So you can just use this out of the box. But if you want to tweak things, then come along in here. So here we've got some links. So here we can set the links to open a new tab or not. Again, that was covered in the setup. You can link the webmaster tool, so Bing and Google Search Console. You've got the code there, but the wizard will do that for you as well. The way you handled some blocks within Rank Math. So if you're using the Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor, if you're using a numbered or unordered blocks, so that's where you get the dash or the number 1 bullet points, basically they're talking about. Then you can choose the way that it displays that text. Normally, it'd just be text, like a paragraph text. But usually within SEO, when we're using bullet points, it's usually a heading 3 that we use, or a heading 4 for those. It just gives it a little bit more significant weight to Google. So you could choose heading 3, for example, and every time you now create a bullet list within the WordPress editor, then rather than just a paragraph text, it'll actually create that as a heading, a header 3 for those. So little tweaks that can help with your SEO there. I use heading 3 for all my bullet point lists. Here you can manually set up your Google Analytics, but we've done that through the setup wizard, so you don't need to bother about that. And content AI, it's up to you if you want to use the AI part of it. I don't particularly use that just now. That's okay. So here are titles and meta. So this is the way that Rank Math handles the way it displays information out to the browser and to Google. So you want to, your robots is a little file that tells the search engines if you should index the website. By default, it's got index, which means yes, come along, have a look at my website, and collect as much information as you can. So you're probably just best to leave that there. You don't want to click on no index at all. That's you basically telling the search engine, don't index this website. So if that is checked, then that means that one of your settings for WordPress has said, don't index this website, which is really, really bad. And that's probably why you're not appearing in Google. So make sure that is not checked. The separation character. So when your search results appear in Google, in the search engine results pages, you will see a title and then a little description. That's how it's displayed in Google. So you can influence how that's displayed at a global level for everything, but you can also tweak this within your pages and posts as well. This is just global settings. So Rank Math out the box, it will display your post title or page title for WordPress, a little separator character, and then your website business name. So that's in your WordPress settings. So you can change what the default separator is from here, depending on what it is. It doesn't really matter too much for SEO. In general, I don't have this format. I usually just have post title because there's a limited amount of characters within that title. It's about 160, 140 characters. And so if you've got a long website name, then you've got less amount for your page title. And your page titles really want to convey all your SEO keywords. So I generally override this within the posts and just have the post title. But again, it's completely up to you. Here is your default image. So if you share a page or post that doesn't have a featured image or it's got no images within it, this is the default image that's going to display. So things like Facebook or Instagram, this is the image it's going to display if it can't find one within your post or page structures. So you can have a default one. I would suggest doing that. Otherwise, Google's probably just going to try and grab your website logo, which is not very helpful. So it's good to have like a general thumbnail just at hand, just in case your page or post doesn't have a featured image or an image within it. Local SEO, so this is for schema information. So this is your WordPress website telling Google who you are and what your business is. So it gathered some of this information from the setup wizard. And here we can see, it's got the website name, alternative name, your logo, who you are, that sort of information, your email address, your local address, things like that. So make sure that you come here. If you've got a bricks and mortar, or if you've got a services business, you've got particular hours that you operate in, you can just make sure you got your email, your address down here, your open hours, formats, what type of organization you are, when your service hours are. This is just useful for Google to build up your Google My Business or Google Local presence. Social media, you can link to your social media pages just so that Rank Math knows exactly who they are. Your homepage, I've got within WordPress, I have set my page to be a static page and not the blog. By default, WordPress out the box just displays your blogs as your first page. I've set that to a static page. Most small business websites like yourself will have a static page. So it's just telling me here that I should go to that page to set up the SEO for that particular homepage. And then the rest of the stuff's not so important. We've got authors, miscellaneous stuff. Here we can set your posts. So again, with the global meta, how we set the post title and the separator and the business name, we can override that globally for your posts, your blog posts. So here we can have the format here. So this is saying it's the page title, it's the separator, and it's the site name. You've got different choices here. So this is the way that it's going to come up within Google. And when they do the search results, what I have in my websites is I just get rid of the separator and site name. So it's just got the title for my posts and pages. Because some of my blog posts have got quite lengthy titles with lots of keyword focus. So I want to maximize that amount of stuff that I get rather than have my business name at the end. So I get rid of that and I would save that. And I do the same for posts, for pages as well, because I don't need my business website at the end. So I just get rid of the separator and just have title. For me, I think it gives you more flexibility as well to see exactly what you want to appear within Google, but completely up to yourself. So that's what I do for a post and pages title. You can override this on the page itself because you've got the rank math options on the posts and pages. Sitemaps are really important. It's an index of what's within your website. So you need to have sitemaps switched on. It's it allows Google to quickly see what posts of what pages you have. And the default for rank math is just question mark sitemap equals 1. Let's have a quick look at that here. So here we see this is the sitemap, and it's got another few links in there. So it's got all your posts, and it's got your pages, and it's got your categories in there. And that's going to grow over time as, let me just go back, it's been onto a different tab. And that's going to grow over time. And it's just an easy way for Google to be able to find that. So make sure that's switched on and include your images in there. It's really useful for feed readers to be able to have that image in there as well. Question from Kate. Does it not interrupt the schema if the page title is different from the URL? No, it doesn't. So page titles are different from URLs. You can focus your URLs as well, but page titles, the way that Google tries to index or understand what your page is about, it looks at the page title. It does look at the URL as well. So we'll talk about URLs next. And it looks at the first kind of 10% of your content as being like the 3 kind of authoritative things that tries to understand what this web page is about. So no, it doesn't interrupt the schema at all. Your page titles can and sometimes should be different from your URL. Great question. Let's see, what else is here? So we've got sitemap, post types. You don't really need to, that's just saying what's included. This should all be default. So we want to not include tags. They're not important, but we want to make sure posts and pages are included in your sitemap and your categories. If you're running WooCommerce, then you will see a products tab here, and just make sure that the product is included in your sitemap as well. Another quick question. Karen says, does rank math has the red, yellow, green light feature similar to Yoast, and it shows you what needs to be done. It doesn't have the traffic lights, but yes, it has a similar thing. They all do. All these SEO plugins. So the one that I use is SEO Press. It's got something very similar. It'll tell you percentage-wise or gauge. But yes, they're all roughly the same. But specifically, Rank Math doesn't have the traffic lights that Yoast has. What else do we have here? Instant indexing. This is a handy little feature from Rank Math. I leave this turned on. So basically, when you publish a post or a page, Rank Math will then submit that to Google and say, hey, there's another post here, there's another page here, go and index it, rather than waiting for Google to come back round and look at your website. Because Google's busy, and not all websites are as important as others, unfortunately. So this is just a little thing to say, hey, Google, I've posted something, go and have a look quickly, please. So I like that. It's a unique feature just to Rank Math. You don't find that in some of the other ones. And kind of lastly, just have a look at this SEO Analyzer. So this analyzes your website overall, and you can then have a look down all the tests. You can find out what tests it's passed, what the warnings are, and what the fails are, and kind of do it from bottom. Start off with the fails, fix those, and then come up to the warnings, and your overall website health should be pretty good. So this is out-of-the-box WordPress. I've only got a couple of test posts, and it's already given me a 78% score, which is pretty good overall. And there is a competitor analysis as well, but I think that's only on the Pro version for it is. Yep, only on the Pro version. Yeah, so that's the basic Rank Math setup. Let me just go back to myself here and add to stage. Boom, that's better. Okay, so great questions. Thank you so much. So I've taken you through the wizard to set up Rank Math. 2 versions, so that's got a small version, easy version, a more advanced, but you can go through all the settings that we've seen anyway and tweak all those. So you probably should do that, even if you went through the wizard. Go and have a look through all the settings, make sure it's all set up the way that you want your business website to be set up, and then you're good to go. Should you have category pages show up in the index? I think it's useful to have categories, tags not so much. It depends on what your website's all about. If your website is focused on blogging and lots of content, then having categories in there can be really useful. It's just another way for Google to find out exactly where all your websites are. Because when people start out with SEO, internal linking is really, really a key for SEO to be useful. So the way that Google finds all your websites is through that internal linkage. So it starts at your homepage, then it goes through all your other pages. It has a look at your blog. So have a look at your blog, and then it'll kind of index itself throughout all those pages. If all your pages are not linked together, so if you've got what you call orphan content, which means that nothing's linking to it and it's not linking out, Google has no way of finding that. So you really should ensure you've got a good internal linking process. But if you haven't, or if you're just starting out, then having the category in the sitemap allows Google to see all your stuff. Because all your blog posts will have at least one category, even if it's undefined, which is the kind of the default one out of the box WordPress. Even if it's undefined, that site index here with the category allows Google to see all your content. So it is quite useful if you've not got a good internal linking structure. So I would keep that in there. You probably won't see that coming up in the search results because Google understands that categories, it's just a different re-indexing, a different way to find that content. It'll always use the primary, what we call canonical URL for that blog post and not through the categories. But a useful way of Google for finding all your content really, really quickly. Great question, Kareem. Okay, so let's cover URLs. You might have noticed in the sitemap when we're having a look at some of the posts and pages that had a little question mark P equals and a number. So out of the box WordPress, it uses IDs for for the page URLs. Excuse me. Okay, let's go next. So here's what the IDs look like in WordPress. Out the box, it uses the post ID as the title for the URL, which is absolutely useless for SEO because it tells Google absolutely nothing. So we don't want that. We want to turn on the pretty links and make sure that that's got their page titles within the links. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So no IDs in URLs, please. No, not good for SEO. We don't want too deep URLs as well. So we don't want lots of slashes. So we don't want to bury your content in lots of layers. The Google algorithm actually thinks that the lower levels you go down, the less important that thing is, because you're burying it under so much other stuff. It's not as important as the stuff that's higher up. So if you've got lots of levels of hierarchy, you might want to just take a step back and just think about, how can you flatten that and bring stuff up a little bit more. So we don't want lots and lots of slashes. We want to keep it kind of nice and high. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 levels would be ideal. We also don't want to stuff too many keywords in. Now sometimes it makes sense, but in the general, we don't want too many keywords stuffed into those. So that first example here, we've got a .com site. So it's obviously a travel website. It's got /hotels. Then we've got USA hotels, then North America hotels, Florida hotels, Orlando hotels. I think Google will understand that that particular page is about hotels. And if your business website is a hotel website, it's a travel website, it's going to understand that. So you don't need to flood your URLs with all these keywords all the time. Just keep it nice and neat. So the example below, hotel/USA, North America, Florida, Orlando. Now that's a good example. The previous slide I had, I said don't bury your content too deep, just for the sake of it. But sometimes it does make sense. For example, this one. Yes, the stuff's buried down a little bit deeper, but it makes sense because the flow of that. So, it's hotels, it's in USA, North America, Florida, Orlando, it's getting specific. So sometimes you will have to do that. So a lot of the things that I'm saying is general rules, but in general, you don't want a lot of, unrelated a hierarchy for that. As long as it makes sense, that's good. If it doesn't, flatten up your hierarchy and bring it up. A couple of things. So you should choose one or the other for this. So this is your www.yourdomainname.com or just domainname.com. Which one do you choose? Choose one, because in Google Analytics, it will see these as 2 different websites. So if you choose just to go naked domain, I go naked domains all the time. So that's just your domainname.com, domainname.com.eu without the www. Then if you do choose that, you should redirect the www to the naked domain. If you don't know how to do that, ask your web host. They'll be happy to tell you how to do that. Some cPanels allow you to do that automatically just through the user interface, but make sure you choose one or the other, because if you go into Google Analytics, if you don't redirect it, Google Analytics is going to see that those are separate websites, and you're not going to get your full SEO results for your overall website. Quick question here. How many layers is too many? I think I answered that, Amy. In general, you want to have 2 or 3 layers, maybe up to 4. But if it does, if it makes sense, then that this is okay. Like hotels, USA, North America, Florida, Orlando, because you're getting specific. You need that. So in general, 2 or 3, I would stick to, unless you need to use more. Use dashes, not underscores. So when you're hyphenating stuff, if you use spaces or multiple keywords within a URL, don't use the underscore, use a dash instead. The reason is because when that is linked on a page or a post, you can't really see those underscores. It's kind of hidden with that underline for there. So it's not good visual UI. And although SEO is important, other factors go into the SEO rankings, things like the Google Core Web Vitals. And that looks at your website accessibility and usability. So if it sees things like that, that's not useful to people who maybe got impaired vision, then it's going to lower you down. So you can see that you really can't see those underscores. Whereas if you use dashes, you can see that that those words are separated. So always use dashes and not underscores. Stop words. You can use stop words. You can get rid of stop words, and just if you're not, stop words are things like the and but, things like that. Don't go out of your way to remove stop words or put in stop words unless it makes sense in context. So for example, here I've got /king. That could mean the music rapper, but then if I put the -king, then you might be thinking maybe Elvis Presley or King Charles, a monarch or something. So if it makes sense in context, add your stop words. Otherwise, yes, you can remove stop words if you want. Otherwise, Google will just get rid of them anyway. It understands what stop words are. Okay, let's go hands-on. Let's have a quick switcheroo. There we go, make that full screen. Okay, so out of the box WordPress, we go to settings and permalinks. This is where it controls your URLs. This is what you'll see out of the box WordPress. So your permalink structure is set to plain, and that is no use for SEO. You want to come down to post name for here, okay? And then just leave it like that, and then save your changes. And now all your posts, rather than have a .id, you can now got a complete URL for those, okay? So that's just a quick way to show you how to do that. Okay, let's move on, because we're running out of time a little bit. Okay, so SEO keywords. So let's have a look at some keyword basics. I've got a fancy graphic here, don't get too worried, okay? So keywords are important in SEO. Here's a basic sales funnel. It's important that you understand that when users search, their intent, that's what they're looking for, kind of changes depending on where they are in their buying journey. So we call this search intent. Now at the top, there are people who they're aware of a problem that they need to solve, but they're kind of searching for general information at this time, kind of broad top level keywords. So maybe 1 to 3 keywords. So for example, they might be looking for a leaky roof. Now these keywords are really difficult to rank for because they're usually dominated by those top competitors. So if you're in that particular industry, you'll have maybe 3 or 4 top competitors. They've already grabbed those top level keywords that people are searching for at the top of the funnel. So they're usually really, really difficult to try and rank for in the page number 1. Easier to rank for are keywords in the middle and at the bottom of the funnel. So in the middle of the funnel, these people are in research mode. So they've done their top level search, then they've narrowed down a few things for those. So they're now narrowing down on solutions. And here they're starting to use more descriptive searches of maybe 3 to 5 keywords. So we've went from leaky roof to now they've done a little bit of research now how to fix leaky gutters. So they're getting more specific, hence more keywords. So it's easier for you to focus on those particular type of keywords than it is probably for the top level ones for there. At the bottom of the funnel, these people are in deep research mode. They've narrowed down 2 or 3 solutions that they're looking for. Hopefully one of them is yours. And they're really kind of in deep research. They're looking for those final details before they're committing to buy. And here they're using real, what we call long tail keywords to get more fine granular details about that solution. For example, here, this one is top gutter repair service near Bondi. So we can see how the funnel works. It's wide at the top. People are just kind of searching general stuff. They're using basic keywords. And then they're going down the funnel. They're starting to find more specific keywords. And this is where your SEO really kicks in. So this is a specific stuff to your business that you're trying to aim. So these are your pages and your blog posts that you've got that kind of, how to fix leaky gutters, how to do this, checklist for this, 10 things to avoid by doing X, Y, Z. This is the more specific things that people are starting to understand that they have that problem and you have a solution for them. And then once they're fixated on a couple of solutions, then they're in kind of real detail search intent mode, and they're looking for that specific product or solution that's going to push them over the edge and just kind of buy that or take out that service. So that's very, very general keyword intent and a sales funnel. Keyword research is a huge topic. I cover a lot in my Zero to SEO Hero webinar, so go and have a look at this. But in general, you should be doing some keyword research. So have a look at your ideal customer avatar. What are they looking for? What stresses? What problems? What are their aims? That'll give you good ideas to what keywords they're typing in to do that top level and to do that middle of the funnel search. So brainstorm those keywords. Come up with some maybe 20, 30, 50 keywords that you can then target with pages and posts for your customer. So when you're thinking about keywords, not only think about the actual keywords, but think about their intent, the end journey of where that user wants to go down that funnel as well. And that might give you some additional ideas for keywords. Also have a look at competitors. So do competitor analysis. So have a look at your top 5 competitors. Where are they ranking? What keywords are they using? And that'll give you an idea as to what what's working and what isn't. When you are writing your content, so specifically your sales and landing pages, but generally blog posts as well, focus on one keyword, here we go, keyword per post. Now, when I talk about keyword, we're not just talking about a single word. We could be talking about those 3 or 5 keywords. So when people talk about SEO, when they say keyword, they kind of mean one word, they kind of mean several keywords, maybe a key phrase, something like that. So bear in mind that's keyword. But focus on one of those per post. So don't split up your SEO. So if you got 4 or 5 of your primary keywords that you want to get across, write separate posts for those that just anchors that particular one keyword per post. Have a look at your synonyms and antonyms as well. That'll give you an idea as to different adjacent words, because not everyone searches for the same keywords all the time. They might search for other stuff. So you want to make sure that you've got related and synonyms and antonyms within that blog post as well. So you're covering that broad spectrum, but still focusing at the top for that one keyword. When you're doing research on keywords, so for example, if you're using the Google AdWord Planner to have a look at the search volume, or an SEO tool, it tells you how many people are searching for those particular keywords per month. It gives you a good indication as to how hard it is to try and get to that search volume. An ideal search volume is around about 100 to 1,000. That's giving you a good chance to be able to target those keywords. It means there's a good amount of people that are searching for those keywords. If you've got 0 search volume, that indicates that nobody's searching for it, so dump that as a keyword. If you've got 10,000 search volumes, then that's your top level keywords. You've not really got a chance of going for those. Your top level competitors, those global players, they'll have grabbed those top levels. Here's some keyword tools. It's a Google Keyword Planner. That's free. Ahrefs is paid with a free trial. We've got SEMrush, Moz Keyword Explorer. That's paid with a free trial. Ubersuggest, that kind of splits it around. That's Neil Patel's one. It is free with a paid option. So free gives you a limited amount of stuff that comes back. And then there's a free option that is keywordtool.io for those. So if you don't know where to start, just get started. Have a look at one of these tools. And I've got kind of free or paid versions. Using keywords. We're going to jump back into WordPress in a second. So using keywords, again, let's see. Sorry, I didn't have the right slide. There we go. There's the keyword tools. Google Keyword Planner, Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, Ubersuggest, and keyword.io. And I'll give you all the links in that page afterwards, so don't worry about those. Using keywords, so one focus keyword per post. URLs in the heading, URL and headings. So you want to make sure that your keywords in the URL, you want to make sure that your keywords in your headings, your H1 to H3. I don't generally go much lower than H3. You want to have your keyword in your intro paragraph or your first 10% of the content, because that's what Google looks at. It looks at the page title, the URL, the headings, and that top bit of content. And that's generally what it uses to get an idea of the overall blog post. You want to make sure your title tag and meta description are set properly, because that's what shows in your Google search results. Put your keywords in image file names. That helps. And make sure your image have alt text with your keywords in there as well. And again, I talked earlier about the internal links. Make sure that when you're linking to and from new blog posts, that you're using keywords in that as well, proper keywords that target it. Okay, let's jump back into WordPress. Okay, so using focus, let's get this bigger up here. There we go, nice and big. Okay, the first thing you're going to do when you're in, let's have a look at pages first of all. Page and posts are very similar, but let's have a quick look. First thing you're going to do is when you're editing in WordPress, in your page or post, is you've got your rank math stuff up here in the top corner. So this one here that's black, that's the WordPress, and you can see your page and your settings and your blocks. Then you click on the next one. This is your rank math. So here it's giving you a score of 8 out of 100 because there's absolutely nothing here. But the first thing you want to do when you're writing or before you write your blog post is you want to come here, go into rank math, and here is your focus keyword. So you want to type your focus keyword in here, and then rank math can start to do its job in looking around for your content and ensuring that it's ready with all this stuff down here. So make sure you got your focus keyword for your page or your post, put it in here, and then let's say rank math will start to do its stuff. So it's important that you do have that focus keyword in there. Okay. There we go. So a little bit on post structure before we jump into creating some content. Getting the structure of your posts and pages right is really important. It's critical for good SEO that you've got good structure within place. Google needs to be able to read your posts and understand the content. So good structure will definitely help for that. So here's an example of a good post structure. The main post title is the H1. So WordPress does that out of the box. You don't have to do a separate. The page title is already a H1 in pretty much all themes that you'll get. So this should be the only H1. You only want one H1 on your page. Otherwise, Google could get a bit confused about, where the main focus is. Some subtopics should be H2s only, so subheadings and subtopics. Make sure that they're headings. If you need to further break things down, then use an H3. H3s are usually favored as list items. So you'll see when you get a search result, if you get like a page, you get the first ranking on Google, it'll tend to break down like maybe steps or how-tos or a checklist as the H3s. That's where it displays. So keep your list items as H3s. That's my recommendation. You want to have short paragraphs, short sentences, maybe like 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph. Don't have huge blocks of writing because it's difficult for users and Google to kind of skim through that for usability. So, have a title, short paragraph, subtopic, subheading, short paragraph, couple of paragraphs, and kind of break it down with that. So break down your content with headings. And at the very end, you'd have a conclusion, a summary, or a call to action. That should be H2 as well. So that's looking like a really good structure. It's easy for people to skim down. It's easy for Google to understand how it's all broken down as well. And it gives you a chance to put your different keywords and alternative keywords and related keywords in your subtopics and subheadings as well. Here's another example, kind of based on a focus keyword of removing space junk. Again, this looks a little bit better. So I have the focus keyword. So the focus keyword is removing space junk. I've got that in the title, the post title. I've also got it in the file name of the featured image. Every little thing helps. And I've got it throughout the content in the URL and throughout the content as well. I've just highlighted that here so you can see. I've also used variations of the word. So from removing, I've also used variations like clearing, getting rid of, extracting, vaporize, because we're talking about space, we'll have to vaporize. So those are kind of semantic keyword variations, and it just gives you that article just a little bit more broad appeal. So you don't want to keyword stuff the same keyword all the time. That will actually penalize your SEO results because that's considered black hat. So rather than stuffing the same keyword in all the time, then we're using synonyms and related keywords throughout your different content. And then Google will understand that that's where your focus is on. For this keyword is removing. So I've used variations of that. So just get your thinking caps on when you're doing SEO and just have a think about related and synonyms and antonyms and bring them all together, but still have that main focus on that keyword. In WordPress, we have 2 types of posts. Everything in WordPress is a post, by the way. An attachment is a post is a post. A page is just a different type of post. So pages in your website are your structural content. These are like your about, your product, your service pages, your privacy policy, your terms and conditions. They are important and they largely convey static content that doesn't change much over time. You should still ensure that they are SEO focused, especially your service and your product pages, so they're getting picked up properly within WordPress. But apart from your homepage, the about page is probably going to be one of your most visited pages on your site. So think about that sales funnel. When people are coming in to your WordPress website and they're getting some of your content, within maybe 1 or 2 hops, they're probably going to go onto your about page and check it out to see who you are. They're making sure you're not an idiot, and they're making sure that you know what you're talking about, that they can trust you, and that your solutions are going to be something that they're worthy considering of. Now, your website pages, they are going to appear in the search results when people are traveling through that marketing funnel. So just make sure that your SEO keywords are focused on your pages as well as your blog posts. So you want to make sure that you cover both sides. So that's things like make sure your focused keyword is in your URL, your title, in the top 10%. Make sure it's in the meta description as well. Ensure your synonyms are H2, maybe to H6. I'll kind of only use H2 and H3s. Your images, ensure they're optimized for your size, because that's good usability, but also have that alt text. Make sure they're human readable, and that your content is unique. So doing competitor analysis is good, but don't just copy stuff. Use it as insights for those, and make sure that everything is internally linked, and also you've got these external links coming in as well. So that is what makes a good page structure in WordPress. We also have blog posts. So blog posts are the dynamic content in your website. That's the stuff that changes over time. So blog posts are ideal for capturing that top and middle of the marketing funnels. Those potential customers who know that they have a problem, but they're not too sure what solutions out there, and they're kind of researching more stuff. So these posts, again, they're more of your how-tos, your checklists, essential guides, X ways to doing Y, why you should never do X, Y, Z, that sort of stuff. A good blog post structure is going to keep the essentials of a page structure from the previous slide, but they're going to have additional features like a catchy title hook. So when people are scanning through the search results, they're going to look for the good, catchy titles. Oh, that's good. I'll click on that. So make sure that your title isn't kind of boring. It's got a catchy hook to it. What else? Make sure that your description, your meta description is clear as well, clear and focused for those. So you'd ensure that is correct. Have a good related and relevant featured image. I think a picture tells 1,000 words. So you've got a good related picture that comes up on social media. People are more likely to look at the picture first and then the hook title. And so that's going to grab them in. And just make sure they're shareable on that social media. The correct keyword, the title, and the correct description is coming up. So Rank Math allows you to change that and we'll have a look at that. Address one topic per blog post, and make sure that you end with a solution, conclusion, and call to action. So let's get hands-on again. I'm going to show you some pages and posts and what you can do within Rank Math. Quick question before we go. Is it true that it's best not to use the symbol ampersand rather than and in copy, as accessibility readers cannot read the symbol? Google does not like this, therefore impact SEO. Yes. So try not to use the ampersand. It doesn't come up very well on some of the screen readers. Use the word and. You'll probably find that when you're reading through articles in magazines and brochures and things, that they tend not to use the and. That ampersand, you use the word and. So use the and. So let's jump into WordPress. Let me just show you this just now at the stage. I know we're going to go a little bit over the hour. Sorry for that, but bear with me. I want to show you my about page. About pages are important for this. This is mine. So I've got who I am. So people will navigate to your about page because they want to have a look at who you are and see what you're all about, your trust, authority, and things like that. So what things should you have? What's a good SEO thing to have on your about page is who you are, what you do. So here's why you do it, your mission statement, your values. Community is really important to me, so I've got about where I am in the community, the brands that I run, some of my top external articles, and I got a gallery just showing that I've got a bit of a fun side as well for those. So it's really important that you have a good about page for your website, because people will navigate that. You'll see in your Google Analytics that about page is probably one of your top ranking pages, so make sure that you use it properly. I just want to say that before we go on. So let's jump back to WordPress and have a look at some posts and pages. Make this full screen. Here we go. So I've got an about page here. So this is a page. Again, we should put the focus keyword in here. So I'm going to put Space Force in here, and we can already see that once we enter it in here. There we go. Once you've entered it, you can start to see that Rank Math is starting to give you some points. This is where someone asked about the the traffic light system that Yoast has. It has a red, amber, and green system. Rank Math is similar. You'll see the colors change within this. Red at the moment, which is not good. So it's given me a score of 50 out of 100. Now that I've got my focus keyword in, we can see underneath that several sections. So one is basic SEO, and it's saying that, hurrah, you're using your focus keyword in your SEO title, which is this here. So I've got Space Force, and I've got Space Force in here, which is good. But then it's not found in your SEO and meta description. It's not found here, it's not found there. So it's good. You should basically go through all these recommendations to get a good score on this. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. When we're talking about URLs, if you click on this link here, it takes you back to the WordPress settings. Make sure you're on page, and then the first bit in the summary, you can see a URL here, and you can change that. So WordPress has a pretty good out the box. When you type in your page title, so about Space Force 1, then it will copy that as your URL, what it calls a permalink structure. If you change your title, after it's been published, the URL does not change. So if you are changing your title after you've saved it as a draft or published it, then you need to come here into the settings page, and this is where you change the URL for that particular page here. Okay, and then that will update your URL. Now, if you've already published something and it's already ranking in Google, you should not try not to change your URL, because it's a different place and Google can get confused and you're going to lose that ranking for those. In cases where you need to change the URL, then you should redirect, and I'll show you how to do that soon. So at the moment, this is pretty pants. I've only got a little bit of content, which is not good, obviously. You need a lot more content for this. What I did was I used ChatGTP. I gave a little bit of description about what this website was about. I said, go and generate an about page for me. And it did. So let's have a look at what it did. So here's about Space Force 2. Okay. So here we are. I got a good lot of content here. It's got the keyword. I told it the keyword was Space Force. Actually, keyword was Australian Space Force. So this is an about page just kind of generated for Australian Space Force. But I've changed a few things on here. So let's have a look. First thing, so you've got your content here. You go up to Rank Math, and you put in the focus keyword, which is Australian Space Force. It's spelled. I'm no good at typing today. There we go. Okay. So there's our focus keyword, and already it's starting to do a little bit of analysis on the website, which is good. Now, first thing it's saying here is your focus keyword does not appear in your SEO title, which it doesn't. So we need to make sure, because the three important things are URL, the title, and the first 10% of the content. So we want to come up here and tweak. Title. Okay. Now, can you see the color changing? So it's went from red to amber now. So now we've got our basic SEO. These ones are getting green ticks in these now. So it says the focus keyword is not found in the URL. So next one, so I'll just update that one. So remember, we come back here to the WordPress and come back to here, because this was already saved as a draft. It's not updated because we've changed the title. So about Australian Space Force. Okay, and then update that. And we can see that in Rank Math, it's starting to climb. So we're getting 60 out of 100, which is pretty good. So if we look at the basic SEO, we're following this map down here. We've got the title, which is this one. We've got the focus keyword. We've got the keyword and the URL, which is the three things that we need. And the focus keyword appears in the first 10% of the content, which is your opening paragraph, which is here. So we've covered title, URL, and we've covered the 10% in there. Now, when we're looking at as well as following the SEO, we want to have a look at the structure of your website. We talked about a good structure. So if you click out here, it shows you all your blocks, but it also has an outline. The outline tells you number of characters, number of words, time to read, but it also shows you the structure of your website. So here you can see a nice quick glance as to how this is structured. So we can see we've got a title here, we've got H2s, great. We've got some H3s and some H2s as well. H3s here I am using those as titles. So like bullet pointless almost. So I've got the H2 title here, and then using these as like a subtitle, just to make sure they're a little bit different, but I can add my keywords in on those as well. How does Google treat page embedded from Canva? If you're embedding stuff, then it's lowering down the layer. So you've already got this stuff in here in WordPress, and you've already got the HTML, but then you've got like almost like a lower level of that. So it's not good. Embedding stuff's not good, because Google recognizes it's not really part of that content. It's coming from somewhere else. And the way that the embedded thing works, it works on an iframe, and the iframe is actually has the domain name, the web page where that stuff's coming from. So Google will recognize that, and whatever stuff you're embedding from Canva, it's going to give Canva that juice, and not your website. It knows it's comes from a different web page, and it's not related to your website. So it's embedded stuff's no good for SEO, or it's not going to add to it anyway. So that's a great question. Yeah, so have a look at your outline. It's going to show you all the stuff, and just continue to go through all these. Make sure that your content is right, got the amount of content you're good. Once you've got your basic SEO done, then you can move on to the additional stuff here. So it just says add an image. So there's no images in here, so that's pretty bad. Pages might not have an image. So some of the stuff you need to take with a pinch of salt, especially when you're doing pages. So pages are a little bit different from blog posts, as I tried to explain. So you might not have images in your post. So don't just follow these, and to get 100%. You probably won't get 100% all the time. Make sure you follow it that makes sense with your page. But it does tell you other things. So if you do have an image, make sure you got an alt text. There's no links here, so make sure you got links as well. Link out to stuff. And then there's readability. So it will analyze your content for readability, which is important as well, because that is a ranking factor. So it's not just about the keywords, it's about how you structure. So make sure you structure things well for those. In Rank Math as well, you can see it gives you a little preview of what your post or page will look like in Google in the search results. So you can edit that here. And then by default, this is going back to the settings that we looked at when we set up Rank Math. So it's taken this page global setting, it's just a title, but you can change that. You can change that. You can add the separator. You can add the site title if you want to do that. That's completely up to you, and the way you structure that. Just make sure that it's going to look how you want it to look in the search results pages and when you're sharing them as well. So we've got the link, we've got the permalink here, which is good. It's getting showing Space Force, and the description. Now, if you don't set up an excerpt for a page or a post, then what WordPress does is it takes the first bit of content, the first paragraph, and it uses that as your description. Now, sometimes your opening paragraph isn't what you want to display in Google. So within Rank Math here, it allows you to change the title that's going to be, but also the description. So you might not want to say "Welcome to Australian Space Force." You might want a little catch your hook. So ensure that you do type a good description, and then it's going to be coming up in the Google search results. So don't just allow WordPress to use the opening paragraph. Make sure that for every page and post that you're doing, that you are writing a proper description and a proper title as well, just so it makes sense that when it's coming out in the results pages and when it's being shared on social as well, that the correct stuff is coming across. It's important for social as well, because the way that Facebook and Twitter handle titles and descriptions is a little bit different. Facebook has a little bit more for the description. Twitter has a little bit less for the description. So just make sure that what you're typing in is relevant, and you can change that for those different ones. So you can have your general, which is what the Google search results, make sure that's spot on. But for social as well, you can tweak the title and the description to make it look proper on those systems as well. So definitely do that for your posts and pages. Try and get towards 100 as close as you can, but don't spend hours, getting that from 90 to 100. It's just really, it's an indicator as to what your good SEO is. Make sure you cover the basics. Have a look at some additional stuff, but don't be, completely paranoid about getting green and 100% on that. So that's an example of a page. Make sure you have a look at outline. It's readable. Make sure you're covering your basic SEO here. Now let's have a quick look at a post. So here's a post that I created. So here's an outline. Again, the outline is going to be really, really low. And if you have a look at the rank math, you've got lots of reds to cover that. So once you have your post outlined, here's an example here. So this is a blog post, the future of removing space junk. If I have a look at the keywords here, my focus keyword is removing space junk. So this is one of the examples that I gave on the slides. So you can see here, I've done a little bit of SEO on here. I kind of got started. So I've got removing space junk in the title, which is good. It's up here. I have not got it in my SEO meta description. So let's do that just now. So let's copy that. So let's have a quick look. So here we've got the preview for the blog post. This is what it's going to look like in the Google search results. I just put a 1 and a 2 here because there's a difference, so I knew which one to click on, but you wouldn't have that in your actual blog post. But if you did, for example, if you did have that, then you can override that here. So the future of removing space junk. So you can always override anything from here. The permalink here as well, I'm going to keep that the same. But description here. So I don't want that here. I don't want the first paragraph to be description because it's too lengthy for here. It's never going to fit in the search results. So I want to make sure I have a nice one. So what I've done is I've actually went out and I've asked ChatGPT to create 10 Google meta descriptions here. I'll put one down here just so I can copy it. So let's copy that. I still want to have that intro paragraph for my blog post because it's important for the blog post, but I want to make sure that when it's come up in Google, it's got something a little bit different. So I'm going to paste this in here now. So again, we've got the kind of red, green, and amber displays. So it will tell you, rank math will tell you if you've gone over. So if I paste that again, that's too much. It's 275 characters. We want kind of round about 160. So let's get rid of that. And this one here, it's perfectly crafted, 130, it's round about that. So we're in the green for that. And now we've got a separate description coming up in Google results, and we've not got that kind of first bit of the paragraph that WordPress has automatically chosen for us. So this is a lot better. It's got our keyword in the title. It's got a good description now, and that's what's going to be displayed on Google rather than just this first ad. So this is why it's so important to come into Rank Math, to come into your SEO plugin, and to tweak these little things so that when it's appearing in Google, it's going to look really, really good. So that's looking good now. Back to the basic SEO in Rank Math. Now we've got greens across the board in the basics. So even if I wasn't to do anything else, we've now got a really, really good basic SEO for our blog posts. So now we've got a really good chance of ranking for that keyword on Google. But of course, you can go and enhance that with more details. So we can go into these additional stuff and have a look and see exactly, what we can do to kind of tweak that to get even better results. So it says focus keyword is not found in any subheadings. So I've used some antonyms here. I told ChatGPT to use antonyms and synonyms. So it's done that, but I could, if I wanted to get that removing space junk here, I could go into one of these by the concern about, and then I could put here removing space junk. And we can see here, Rank Math is alive. So focus word is now found in at least one of the headings. So now we're starting to tweak our post and our blog post for additional stuff. It's saying that there's no images in here, so let's add a couple of images just for SEO's sake. So let's image. So this is now me enhancing my blog post with for SEO for images. Let's go to media library. Let's just do this one here. There's some space junk. So when we're adding, we've got our SEO in our mind. So have a look at the alt text. So This one doesn't have an alt text. It's just been uploaded to the media library. It's got no alt text. So I want to space chunk removal, or removing space chunk, and select that. Okay, so now, as well as visually appealing, now we've got the image in here, and it's got a related keyword as well. So now we're starting to get some good stuff in here. We want to link out to external things as well. So, for example, debris, I might want to link that to a Wikipedia. So we would do that here. We'd link out. I'm just going to type in anything. There we go, that'll do. But now we've got an external link out to something, and we can see we're starting to get additional SEO juice here. And a link into, we want to be a link into our own internal pages and posts. So I'm just going to choose another link. I'm going to choose an internal one. It doesn't matter which one. Backspace source, for example, there. And now we can see that our additional stuff is starting to light up with green. We're now getting a really good SEO. This is now 77 out of 100. This is a rank math number that it tries to calculate for those. I'm going to add another couple of images. Space chunk one there. And we've got an alt here. Get rid of space chunk. And now we can start to see we're building up better scores. Every time we're adding something, an image that's got alt text that's good for SEO, then this starts to increase, the number starts to increase. Now I could go on doing that. I'm not going to do that, but this is just an example of what I would be doing as a hands-on approach. If I was doing SEO, I'd be focusing a keyword, one keyword per article, then writing my outline, copy it into WordPress, into the focus keyword. Make sure we've got our preview, our snippet that's coming up okay. Make sure that it's got good social sharing, that's got the correct snippet. I might not want that snippet. I might want a different image. So I could add this one here. And that would override that image. And this is what would then look like on social media. I could go back to WordPress, go back to post and make sure it's got the proper featured image as well. And make sure that's working. And now we can see all these things are starting to build up. Now I've got 80 out of 100. And so it's looking pretty good from an SEO point of view. Okay, I'm just going to update that. Let's jump back to the slides. It's coming up for half an hour over. Sorry about that. I wanted to try and cover as much stuff as possible for you. So it's probably one more thing to have a look at is redirection. So let's put this slide up just quickly. Okay, so redirections are important. Sometimes you might need to move old stuff. You might find that you need to delete a post, that you need to change over the old content. So 404s, that's when there used to be a page on your website, it's no longer there. They're bad for your SEO. If you've got lots of 404s, your SEO score overall is going to go down for your website. So make sure you keep an eye on your 404s. You can do it through Rank Math, you can do it through Google Search Console, but make sure that you find those and you either you put in a redirection for those. Now, when you're redirecting your old stuff to new, you want to make sure that you're redirecting rather than just ignore that 404, because that then tells Google that you've got another page that you want it to look at, so you're not losing all that good SEO juice that you've already built up over the years for those. Now, the best way to redirect that is called a 301 redirect. 301 is just it's a code that tells the web browser that what they're looking at no longer exists, but it should look at this other page instead. Special code that the web browsers understand. So eventually, once you've redirected from an old content to a new one, eventually Google will understand that that is now the page it should rank for, and it will eventually re-index and list that in that new URL in the results page. So let's have a quick look as to how you can do that within WordPress. Okay, so for redirections, I'm going to go to Rank Math. I'm going to go to the advanced mode in the dashboard, and I'm going to look for redirection because it's not switched on by default. So I'm going to click on it here. And once you click on that, you can see that the redirections tab or link appears in the side. It wasn't there before, so now we've got that. So we click on redirections. Now I've not got any here. I'm going to add a new redirection. I'm going to see if it works. So I've got a couple of pages here. I've got an old page. Let's just have a quick look at that. So it's an old page, and if I go back, I've got a new page, which is this one here, new page. So a couple of URL, let's have a look at the URL. So it's just dash, it's old dash page, and the new page is new dash page. So 0 points for originality, but there we are. It's just a demo. Okay, so we're in redirection. We want to add a new redirection. Source URL, we want to be exact. So HTTPS, let's just pull this website. Sorry, let me just go back and grab the URL. So I'll go into the page. Go into the old one. I'm going to view it. I'm going to grab the URL. I'm going to go back. I'm back in the redirections. And redirections. Okay, so I've got the URL of the old one. I copied that. I'm going to type that in. So that's the old page. The new page I want to redirect. We just click on the new page. Put in the URL. We want to make sure it's a permanent move for this, so it's not temporary. Most of your redirections will be 301, which is a permanent move. You're basically telling Google that stuff no longer exists. This is the new stuff for here. Leave it as activated and then add the redirection. So that is now from old page to a new page. Let's go and see if this works. This is a demo, so who knows if it's going to work. So now if we click on, if we view the old page, it should redirect to the new page. So it's and could not be found. Of course that didn't work because it's a demo. Sorry about that. Let's try that once again. I'll quickly go into redirection. It did work. It worked yesterday when I was testing it. Edit this to make sure I've got everything. So source URL is old page. And I'm going to say, yeah, exact. Destination is this one. That should be a dash. Update. There we go. Okay, let's see if that works now. I didn't have a dash in there. So go to pages. And we'll view this old page. There we go. And now it's directing to the new page. So really, really quick and easy way as to how to do redirections within Rank Math. As I say, it is really, really important that you don't just leave those 404s, that you're using that redirection. And that's how you do it. So if you have looked through Search Console for that, as you see lots of 404s, that's the way to do it. You don't have to redirect to a completely new page or rewrite your content. Just redirect to a similar page, that's got roughly the same type of content. And then Google will re-index that eventually, and that'll become in the search result. And you're not going to lose any of that search juice that you've built up for ages. Okay, we're almost done. Thanks for hanging with me for the extra time. I know it's been a long one. It always takes a little bit longer when you're doing hands-on stuff. Let's went hands-on. So let's list some common SEO mistakes, and then I'll open up for like 10 minutes for Q&A if you've got any additional questions. I know it's been a huge amount of stuff that you've been looking at today, so sorry about that. So here are SEO mistakes. So these are common SEO mistakes that people do, but you can avoid by knowing about them. So duplicating keywords. So every web page if it's got the same few keywords all the time, Google has to decide which pages to rank the highest. Essentially, the content on each page it competes for views. So, you want to make sure that you've got using good keywords, that you're not duplicating the same keyword all the time. For that, just make sure that you're, it's called keyword cannibalization if you do that, because it's a bad strategy to kind of stuff all the keywords in. Just make sure you're using proper keyword, one focus keyword, and you're using antonyms and synonyms and related keywords throughout your keywords. So don't just duplicate that keyword. Don't ignore your meta tags. So make sure you go into that Rank Math, set your title and your meta description and your title for those. It's really important. Don't let WordPress decide what the first meta description is, that first paragraph. Go and tailor that specifically for yours. Make sure that your pages and your website works on mobile, the way that Google ranks stuff in the search engine results, it's actually mobile first. A lot of people don't realize, but it will render your website on mobile, and then it will look and see how good your search, your SEO is from a mobile point of view, and that's the way it ranks. So it does a mobile first. So make sure that your blog posts are all shown properly and your page structure is working on mobile. Ensure that your pages are fast. So you want to load things super fast. So things like make sure your images are resized properly. Don't be loading up from your iPhone at 5,000 by 3,000, whatever. If you're just displaying a little 800 by 600, make sure you optimize that. Use things like a JPEG or a WebP image format, because that compresses it down even more. So that's good. Poor URL structure. So we talked about the URLs. Make sure that you're not using huge amounts of structure. Make sure you've got a reasonably flat URL structure. And yes, optimize images. It's really, really important. So important, I've actually included it twice. I get this all the time when I get clients come to me and they're saying the website's really poor, it's slow. First thing I look at is images throughout the website. And I usually find that they're uploading them from their Galaxy or their iPhone. There's 6,000 by 400 images, even although a product image only kind of displays like 600 by 600. So that's one of the big things I do, is I go through all the images and I optimize them for those. So those are key SEO mistakes. Make sure that you're not doing those. Make sure you're using the right keywords. You've got that keyword meta title and description tag that's going to appear in Google, that it works properly on mobile, that your website is fast, that your URLs are really, really good, and make sure all your images are optimized. I have a question here. Do you recommend using AMP? No, AMP's dead. Don't bother using AMP. So Google's kind of abandoned AMP just now. So yeah, it used to be a thing. It's not anymore. Quickly, just a bonus gift I've got for you. I will send you through a SEO cheat sheet. So it's an 8-page, 9-page cheat sheet that's got everything that I've covered today and more. So it just allows you to go through your post title. It's more focused on WordPress. So where the media library, things like that, things that you can focus on to ensure that your overall WordPress website is set up for SEO. So I'll email that out to you, to your email address that you registered for this webinar. If you're looking for replays or any of my stuff, it's on this. I've got how to make videos that wow, from zero to SEO hero, unlock secrets of digital marketing, and this replay. That's available on this screen here. So if you go to willbrown.com/SBM, it's not there just now, but if you give me either today or tomorrow, and I'll have the replay, the slides, and all the links up for that. And you can watch those in your own time. Okay, sorry I ran over by quite a bit. I had a lot to cover, and I wanted to make sure that I was as comprehensive as I could be, and that you could actually see me do SEO on a page and a blog post to understand the process and where you go through. So if you do have any questions, drop them in the Q&A, and I'll try my best to answer them. Jess says she's created some PDF ebooks. Want to know the best way to maximize the SEO effectiveness. I don't need to keep it as a PDF. I could use other options, though I think it may be way too much for a blog post, but could create multiple ebooks have been created to exchange emails, context. That's your offer. Yep. So you want to know what your suggestions are for context. These are not premium content and essentially free for everyone to exchange of email. Yep. So this is really, really good, not particularly for SEO, but it's good as an offer. So I do that as well. I offer PDFs in exchange for people's names and emails. So you're not really SEO optimizing for the PDF itself. You're optimizing for that landing page. So what's in the PDF, you want to make sure that on that landing page where people are signing up, that you are outlining the key benefits that they're going to get from downloading that offer. It's the same way that you would target your services, same way that you target your product page. Don't tell people so much what it is and what you do. Tell people what they can get from it and the benefits they can get for you. When you're optimizing these things, a lot of people tend to kind of optimize for the key features for a product and solution. And yes, that should be there. but towards the top of your content, you should be telling people what benefit that they are going to get from that PDF, that product, that service. Because people are just glancing. So they come to a page, they're scanning the top 10%, and that's what Google does as well to understand. So make sure when you've got these types of offer pages or your products or services that you're telling people what benefits they offer the people before you tell them what features you have in your services and products. So yes, so for the PDF, so it's not so much about the PDF, it's more for optimizing that page for the SEO benefits of people downloading that PDF. I hope that answered your question, Jess. Kate says, you said the image file names are important. Should they be descriptive or including words? So this is a little SEO trick. So images are really big in search land. So it's probably the number 3 searches for people searching for images, for keywords, and that can lead people through to the original content. So it's a little SEO hack that SEO people do, is that as well as the alt, you'd always add alt text to images, and that should have the focus keyword or a related keyword. But a little hack as well that you can use is adding the keywords into the image file name as well. It's just giving that a little bit extra SEO stuff for Google. So Google will look at the alt tag, but if it sees a related image with the image name, that it will also index that for those. So yeah, make sure that keywords are in the image file name. You can add description as well. If you're doing both, make sure your keyword is first and then description is after that for those. And you will find that by changing that, the way that you do that, by adding keywords and descriptions into your actual file names, it's going to have a little bit of boost for SEO overall, rather than just leaving it kind of, I don't know what it would be, iStock 359218, something like that. Just rename it, for example, Space Junk or Australian Space Force or whatever it is your business or that page or blog post is talking about, then yeah, add it to the file name. Yeah, good pickup, Kate. Karine asks, does changing web hosts also affect the SEO? Not indirectly. There's a couple of things that can happen with SEO and web hosts. If you are on a really, really cheap plan, so I'm talking about things like, $5 a month shared hosting. The problem with shared hosting is that other websites, basically your website's running on one box, and you've probably got 200 or 300 other websites running on that same physical machine. All it takes is for 1 or 2 of those websites to do something bad, and that server can get banned. The IP can get onto a blacklist, and because your website's associated with the IP, that can affect your reputation, even though it's not your website. The server's reputation, that can affect SEO. But more commonly, it's speed. So if you're on a really cheap hosting plan, you're probably not getting the best speed for your website. And again, if you're on shared hosting, all these other websites are vying for the same resource. All it takes is for 1 or 2 of those websites to be, spamming, sending out stuff all the time, or being really resource intensive, and therefore it's slowing down the whole machine, therefore it's slowing down your website. And speed is absolutely key to SEO. The faster you can make your website, then the better the SEO is. We don't really know what the key factors are for the Google SEO algorithm. It's super top secret sauce. But a lot of studies and a lot of research is done to say that speed is a significant ranking factor. So you need to get your web pages loading in between 1 and 2 seconds. If it's any longer than that, 3 or 4 is nah. Anything over 5 is deadly. So to go back to your question, web hosts, it indirectly affects SEO. 1, through reputation, if you've got dodgy websites on a shared host. And secondly, probably more importantly, is speed. If you've not got a speedy web host, then you should maybe think about going to some other web host. Kate says, thanks, that's no problem, thank you. First class, thank you, Jess. Thank you, Richard. Thanks, Kate. I'll just have a look. Any other questions, you can drop them in chat. Otherwise, I think we'll wind down. That's 1 hour 40. That's been probably long enough, and you're probably all wanting to get back to doing what you want to do. Jennifer says that was helpful. Appreciate the walkthrough. Thanks for sharing. No problems at all. That's great. Thank you very much. I can't see any other questions coming through. So if you do want to send me a question, if you go to that landing page, which is here. There is a contact form on the bottom. You can send me an email, any aspect about this, and I'll get back to you for that. Someone asks, recommendation on good web posts. You got to go to my willbrown.com and search for why web posts is like pizza, because web posts are different to different people. There's things that people like, things people don't like. My analogy for pizza is pineapple. Lots of people swear by pineapple. Other people say it ruins pizza. Good web posts, it depends on what you want to do. I'm going to list some out that I've used that are probably worthwhile looking at. I use wordify.com for all my WordPress websites. I have other people use kinetics.com, so that's Australian based. I have other people use wpengine.com. They have a data center here in Sydney, so you can choose them. That's managed WordPress hosting. But then I've got other people who are running on the middle of the ground, so they don't want to pay that extra money for WP Engine or big stuff. I've got some people running on SiteGround. SiteGround's a good middle option. Don't go for their shared hosting, but maybe go for their managed WordPress hosting or the WordPress hosting. It's a good, it's a reasonable setup for those. And again, you have an option for a Sydney data center for theirs because they're all American based. So there's some examples of web posts that you might want to go and research. Okay, everyone. Thanks, Lydia. Yep, no problem. Good. Lots of feedback. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone. I'm going to wrap that up for today. Thank you so much for bearing for the 1 hour and 45 minutes that it took. Hopefully, you got some good tips for SEO. You could see SEO in action. If you haven't done SEO before, I really do recommend that you start with Rank Math, go through that wizard, and just kind of build up on your SEO. Follow that basic SEO, do your focus keyword, 1 keyword per blog, do your meta title and description. If you get 60% out of 100 in that Rank Math score, you're going to be doing a lot better than 90% of other New South Wales small business websites that don't even do any SEO at all. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for your questions. Hopefully see you next time, next month, SEO Business Month. But until then, thank you very much for being here. Take care. And good SEOing. Bye.